And welcome back to the Business Spotlight. I'm Pat Dewar. Today I've got Senator Ken Paxton. I believe he's our future Attorney General in the state of Texas. And you might think, Business Spotlight, future Attorney General, what's up with that? Why would you even do that? Well, if you understand Ken's platform, it's pro-business. It's lower taxes. It's let's get more people into Texas that are bright and want to participate in the success that's here and create more of it for the country as a whole. Senator, thanks so much
Good
for
to be
being
here.
on the show.
Good to be here.
I want to get a little bit more into the future Attorney General. What is it going to mean to have you in office? What do you want to do with that position?
Texas, over the last several years, I've been in the legislature for 11 years, and the thing that I've most noticed about the change that I've noticed most is that we've gone from focusing on state issues to federal issues since Obama came into office. And we have had this constant intrusion into business, into individual liberties, and the Attorney General in Texas has become more and more a focal point of having to stand up and say, no, we're going to stand up against this. We're going to fight you so that our businesses can continue to operate and create jobs and wealth, and our individuals still have their liberties, and we still have control of our legislature. And so the Attorney General in Texas is going to have to stand up, have the courage to stand up to the Obama administration and say, no, we're going to fight you, and we're going to keep our sovereignty, and we're going to keep our ability to feel to have opportunity and liberty and freedom. And it's going to be critical that that person is willing to take that stand.
How can people connect to you?
KenPaxton.com. That's probably the easiest way through our website. We'd love for people to sign up so we can stay in touch because the election's not till March the 4th. Early voting would start middle of February, and so we want to be able to stay in touch with people. It's 6 months away, which seems like a long way, but really considering how big a state is, it's not. We really don't have a lot of time to campaign, so we need to stay in touch with people through that website.
KenPaxton.com. They
Correct.
go, they fill their name and email address. You're not going to spam them. You're going to just give them the information to keep them informed, right?
That's correct.
So the idea there is just to try to get people to raise their hand. KenPaxton.com. They can raise their hand, say, I like what you're saying.
Right, and the reason we want them to sign up, we want to be able to remind them to vote. So few people vote in a primary election when the elections are actually decided in Texas. It's relatively small percentage, probably 5 to 6%, and so we want to remind people to go vote because it's so important to do that. And then we want them to tell their friends because you can make a huge difference by bringing a few people to the polls with you because the numbers are so low on voting.
Now, you have been known to be very conservative on other issues as well. One of the things that we mentioned, I know you were on Lee Sherrill's show, and I love Lee. He's a great guy, and here at UAN. Pro-life, you've done some real inroads in that area, and I know that may not seem like a big business in that area, but there's a lot of conservatives that are part of this state and part of this nation. Would you agree?
Yeah, I've been one of the most pro-life legislators in my 11 years. We just passed, you probably saw a lot about this on the media, with a certain senator standing up and filibustering our pro-life bill, but obviously the governor called us back. We passed a bill that does two things. It basically protects the unborn and it protects women. It protects women by upgrading standards of abortion clinics to what surgical centers have to do now. And secondly, it requires that doctors have admitting privileges with a hospital that's relatively close so that we can keep these women safe if they're going to go through that procedure. And then finally, it protects the unborn. So you cannot do an abortion after 20 weeks, which in my opinion, I'd like to see abortion outlawed all the way. But that to me seems like a relatively reasonable because these babies are, for the most part, at 5 months, they're viable and they can feel pain and they have a heartbeat.
Well, and I mean, I've done a lot of work in that area as far as like self-improvement and actually led a number of workshops in that area, something like almost 10 years of them. And over and over again, I saw the pain that women had years afterwards that they were having to recuperate from. And you think about the financial impact, I have to use that because when someone's broken like that, how many business people, because of their own brokenness, have literally hindered their own success?
Absolutely, and you also look at the opportunity for adoption, how many people want children. My wife was adopted, and she was fortunate to be adopted by a wonderful family that could have no children, and she had a great, childhood. She was later had the opportunity to meet her birth mother and reunite with her birth mother and her 4 siblings and her aunts and uncles, and it's really a wonderful story of somebody who was willing to sacrifice, give up their baby for adoption, let the baby live, and give her a wonderful life. And a result of that is that I get to marry her, and we have 4 children that otherwise would not be around as well. So it's exciting to have the opportunity to give these kids life.
What do you want people to do in the next few months? We said go to kenpaxton.com. What else can they do to support you?
You know, 2 things really. One is, you know, obviously it costs money to run a campaign. We'd love for them to contribute to our campaign, but as important as that is, spread the word. Tell your friends, because it is so amazing how few people will know about this race. Most people don't know much about, you know, Attorney General. They won't know anybody running. So if you can encourage your friends, if people can encourage their friends, then they will make a tremendous difference in this race and helping me win the race.
And the race again is in, okay, what's the dates?
March 4th is the election, and then early voting is basically 2 weeks prior to that. I think it starts February 17th and runs for 2 weeks, and then the election day is Tuesday, March 4th.
And you're saying that literally 1 million people can make the difference.
Absolutely, and actually, because there's 3 people in the race, very likely, you know, 400,000 will get you in a runoff.
Wow. Folks, Senator Ken Paxton's running for Attorney General. If you want somebody that's pro-business, lower taxes, wants lower taxes, is pro-life, and really wants to do you good, go vote for him. Goodness gracious. KenPaxton.com. This is Business Spotlight. We'll be right back.
You can become a published author. Discover a system that will lead you from idea to having your book on the bookshelves. Bob Baer pulls back the curtain at the More Power to Publish workshop. Watch and learn how to follow the step-by-step plan to turn your idea into a published book. Learn more at morepowertopublish.com.